Can you imagine paying over $2,000 for a computer that today would struggle against your smartwatch? Stay with me until the end because I'm going to reveal a curiosity about this tower that even hardcore Apple fans rarely talk about. Something that completely changes how the Performa 6200CD is remembered. Alright, come closer. Let's talk as if we are standing right in front of this old, surprisingly elegant tower. The Macintosh Performa 6200CD was Apple's bold attempt to move the computer from the office into the living room. And I am serious. This machine was designed for families, not for business people. Back in the 90s, its price ranged from $2,000 to $2,400. And that amount back then was like buying a huge TV, a fancy piece of furniture, and a stereo system all at once. So whoever had one of these was usually the tech family. The family that did homework on the computer, that printed things in color and proudly showed off the CD-ROM drive like it was something from the future. And that is where the strange part begins. This machine was an experiment. Apple took a brand new PowerPC 603 processor, modern for its time, and paired it with an older internal architecture. Imagine putting a sports car engine inside an old pickup truck. In theory, powerful, but sometimes it felt like something was holding it back. A lot of people criticize it because of that mix of old and new, but honestly, that is what makes it fascinating today. It is a perfect example of a company trying to leap into the future while still being pulled by the past. Now here is something most people have no idea about. The Performa 6200CD was not rare when it launched. In fact, it sold a lot. Why? Because Apple pushed it everywhere. Catalogs, electronic stores, family bundles. It was offered in so many places that Apple ended up creating slightly different versions for different retailers. And that is why today, decades later, there are weird little variants of this tower, almost like accidental special editions. But one of the biggest selling points of the 6200CD was something new for Apple: multimedia. For the first time, Apple was not just selling a computer, they were selling the idea that your family could explore encyclopedias, watch educational videos, play CD-ROM games, listen to music, and experience digital content in a way that felt magical at the time. And now let me tell you what it was like inside. Opening this machine is like opening a time capsule built by someone who was not sure what the future would look like. Flat cables crossing each other, older components sitting next to newer ones, design ideas that did not fully match, a kind of organized chaos that you would never see in a modern Apple product where everything is perfectly aligned and intentional. But that chaos, that weird transition is what makes this tower special, and today it is what makes it rare. Not rare in the sense of being extremely expensive, but rare because most of these machines simply did not survive. They were thrown out, recycled, stored in garages, and forgotten. The few that still work today are practically museum pieces, pieces of a chapter in Apple's history many people overlook. It is funny when you think about it, but in the 90s, this tower played a role that is almost hard to imagine now. It was basically the Google of the household. It was where you looked up information for school projects, where you played your first CD-based games, where you listened to music, opened educational programs, and maybe even tried the internet for the very first time, back when connecting online felt like stepping into a new world. Okay, now let's get to what I promised at the beginning. Here is the little-known fact that even many Apple fans never realize. The Macintosh Performa 6200CD was one of the last truly complicated machines Apple made before the company realized it needed to simplify everything. The messy internal design, the multiple variants, the confusing product line, all of that pushed Apple into making a drastic decision. Just 2 years later, Apple cut dozens of models from their lineup. They simplified the entire product strategy, and that decision opened the path for the iconic 1998 iMac. And without machines like the 6200CD, imperfect, messy, and transitional, Apple's revival simply would not have happened the same way. So yes, this tower may not have been perfect, but it was necessary. A strange step, maybe even a flawed one, but an important step toward the Apple we know today.